Gil Lewis Jazz Show, bringing you nothing but the jazz musicians in the South Jersey, New York area, and Delaware. And we have with us today, we have Jimmy Kaufman, who's living in Galloway, New Jersey, near Atlantic City. And he comes from Norristown, Pennsylvania. So we like to ask Jimmy Kaufman, who inspired you to play the drums?
All right. Well, I have a lot of drum influences. Lots of drummers that have inspired me. But if I have to mention anybody that really got me started, I have to mention my parents. Because my parents got me my real start in music. I mean, I played with Art Blakey for a week. Wonderful, excellent, best drummer you'd ever want to hear. He took me under his wing for a week. I took lessons from Music City in Philadelphia, greatest drummers in Philly. I played upstairs from Buddy Rich 1 week, and that was incredible. And I did all that, but I do give thanks to my parents because my father was an excellent musician back in the 40s when it meant something to be an excellent musician. And he played with Billy Eckstine and everybody else. My mother was a singer in a big band, and they got me really started. I heard jazz in my house from when I was 2, 3 years old, and I actually liked jazz when I was 4 years old from my father's record collection. And then my father taught me clarinet, which is a trip in itself. You play clarinet, you know how hard clarinet is. And if I hadn't started on the clarinet, I don't think I'd be as good a drummer as I am today, if I am any good, because the reading involved on the clarinet really helped me a lot. Because when I got into high school, I had to play everything, timpani, marimba, vibes, all the mallet instruments and everything else. It really gave me a good foundation for being able to be a good drummer. So that's first and foremost. Other than that, it's Art Blakey, everybody. I don't know if I can name everybody. There's Art Blakey, Elvin Jones, Philly Joe Jones, Louis Bellson. I have to mention Louis Bellson. He was wonderful to me when I was young. Buddy Rich, Tony Williams, Max Roach, Roy Haynes, and a lot of guys that people don't even know that were really great that I loved my whole life. Another guy's name is Tony Inzalaco. He's from the New York, New Jersey area. He played in Europe with Dexter Gordon and everybody. Great drummer. The other guy is Danny Spencer. He comes from Detroit. And I just love those guys playing from back when I was 12, 13 years old. So they would be my drumming inspirations.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'd like to ask you, what do you think jazz is going now in this COVID-19?
I know.
Where do you think it's going?
I don't know where jazz is going, but you know what? Nobody ever knew where jazz is going. You could go back to Louis Armstrong, and he didn't know where it was going to go. He just went ahead and did it. And whether it was Bird and Diz or whoever, they just went ahead and did it. They didn't know what the outcome would be. So I don't know what today the outcome will be with anybody today or with this plague that we have. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I do believe that jazz music will always survive no matter what time period it is. So it's always been hard for jazz music to survive, whether you're in the 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, you can go back to the 20s where they couldn't even have an integrated band playing together. And guys like Louis Armstrong and Dix would have to get together in a back room in the middle of the night somewhere to jam together. So, I mean, to survive through all that, jazz will survive until the Lord comes back. So that's my opinion on jazz. And I don't know who's going to like it or how popular or what they can do with it. It'll always be here. It's been here my whole life, and I'm 63. So.
Beautiful analysis. I'd like to ask you another question. You live in Galloway.
Yeah.
You're right near Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And where do you see that going?
Well, Atlantic City could be doing a lot better. You ought to know yourself as we played together. We played together for what, 6 years now? And I don't know. We had a gig there at that temple, and we were bringing it. I mean, that was some great jazz music, and we used to fill that place, and that was the best jazz music in Atlantic City since Club Harlem closed. Now, what they're going to do now, I don't know. You got a whole bunch of suits, you got a whole bunch of people that don't know anything about jazz, you got rockers, you got people that think they know stuff, and I don't know, but I have seen it. I have done it with you. I've done it with, I played the Chicken Bone Beach thing, and for a single night, the real jazz is being played. I do believe the organ should have a place in Atlantic City.
Oh, yeah.
Because the organ has this pedigree from Atlantic City. It goes all the way back to Wild Bill Davis playing at Little Belmont, and then it really starts when Jimmy Smith came down. His first gig, first organ gig was in Atlantic City. Not Philadelphia, it was in Atlantic City, and Atlantic City should have a room with an organ in it, a big B3, where every of the organ players can come and play, and people could hear the real organ jazz. That belongs in Atlantic City as well as any good jazz, but especially.
Well, let me ask you about the educational factor. We have the young children who are coming out of high school, and they don't know that history. So what do you think that needs to be done to project that history?
You know what? That's an easy question. If you get Leonard Feather's 3 encyclopedias of jazz, you get those 3 books. There's an encyclopedia of jazz. There's an encyclopedia of jazz in the 60s. There's an encyclopedia of jazz in the 70s.
But how, excuse me, but how...
You're talking about history.
But that's not being, how I say, projected to that general population.
Okay.
That's being knocked out.
Right.
So how can
As
we,
far as being
how can we
educated,
get that to be influence our young generation?
I don't know how you influence the young generation right now. I don't know. Maybe if they get interested in an instrument and are willing enough to take lessons one-on-one from a person that really can teach somebody from the beginning to go all the way up to learn their theory and harmony and their chord changes, everything else, and they can keep interested in it the whole time, maybe something can happen there. As far as computers and the internet and all this technology today, I haven't seen a benefit for that better than a person just taking some music lessons from a good teacher one-on-one. I haven't seen the computer's able to promote things. The computer's able to get you out there, you know. But as far as teaching somebody what the music's about, and I would say it would be like an apprentice. I would say a musician should sort of be like a shoemaker. People learned how to make shoes or repair shoes from the cobbler. This sounds stupid, I know. But they learned on-the-job training. They learned how to do something from somebody that knew how to do it, and they would listen to them and apply that and learn how to do it themselves. And I still think that's the best route to go. The one-on-one with a musician, learning everything, you know. Nowadays you can't be as strict.
But do you think that learning music,
Well,
it doesn't give the money power
yeah.
than going into the rapping music?
Well, if you want to learn music, money's not going to have to enter into it. You're going to have to learn music for the sake of your love for music. And the money, and if you're fortunate and lucky enough to be able to make a lot of money doing it afterwards, that's all well and good. But there isn't one, we're talking about jazz music, there isn't one great big superstar that didn't have a love for music first and learn the music first. That would include Michael Jackson or Prince or any of them, Jimi Hendrix, and all these big superstars, they learn the music first. The money comes later. But you still have to learn the music to a certain degree first before you can think about money. If you're thinking about money before you're starting to play an instrument, forget about it. That's going to be totally wrong. You have to want to play the music for the love of the music and the instrument that you felt. Everyone falls in love with it.
I agree with you.
So,
I agree with you.
it'd be great if we all had $1 trillion or whatnot. That would be great for all the effort, all the years you've put into it. You deserve $1 trillion for your... He has a great work ethic. This man has a great work ethic. He inspires me because he never gets down. I get down sometimes, but he never gets down. He always inspires me because he's always ready to go. He's always ready to sweat his butt off.
What I believe in that you gotta keep pushing for the spirituality of the music.
Well, you do that.
And you do that also.
Well, you do it.
So
you're a big inspiration to me because you're 10 years older than me, and I go, nah, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I'm that. But you're a real inspiration. He's sitting here in a pair of dress pants and a pair of dress shoes, and he's only in my house, and I'm in this bathing suit. So that'll tell you what Gil's. He's an incredible man.
okay, we'd like to ask you another question. What is your input in trying to do something here in Atlantic City since you in Galloway?
I have tried. I've tried with you. We did pretty good for a while, but we were playing.
What are you? I want to say, what are you going to try to do?
Well,
within the.
If we're going to talk about Atlantic City,
hold up now. Within the city.
The city. All right. The city.
You need to talk to the city. Yeah. Is what I think that needs to be done. You can't do it protesting. You can't do it walking down the boardwalk. It needs to be gathering in the city of the borough hall.
Well, you know what I think should happen? Somebody should get together with the city council.
That's what I'm asking you.
And remind them of Atlantic City's jazz history and try and tie it in where they can find a thing where they can put the historical aspect to the music, tie it in with the historical thing of Club Harlem and all the clubs that used to be on Kentucky Avenue. There's a club on Kentucky Avenue right now, Kelsey and Kim's, but you have to have, if you could tie this in with some, you're talking about education.
And excuse me, how can that be done if you don't go into your borough hall?
I don't know. You have to do that. And you'd be the man to do that because you have to come up to them and say that this is an educational thing, it's an historical thing, and it's an entertainment thing. I think you'd have to separate just the entertainment part. You can't just do it as just an entertainment thing. What happens there is you go in these joints and you try and play this stuff, and nobody knows what you're doing and whatnot. You'd have to go to these people and impress on them or remind them of the jazz history in Atlantic City and how it should be here as a historical thing. And you could tie that in with schools as an educational thing, and then you will also have the entertainment thing involved in all. And it would be those three: education, entertainment, history. That's my idea. Now,
Beautiful.
yeah, that's what I think.
Beautiful.
Can't be just one thing. It's got to be all those.
All right, we'd like to say this is our episode of the Gil Lewis Jazz Show. Thank you.
Education thing, you're going to get
They will come.
Asians.
This is Bonnie
and
Bennett,
everybody.
a local
Ain't no
musician
Asians gonna come.
and singer.
Well, they love
And,
jazz.
No Jamaicans are gonna
pleased
come.
to speak
Let's
about the
face the
times that
facts.
we're in.
Well, then who's
And,
going to come?
Jimmy,
I believe
Jamaicans
that we
is
need
not
to
coming for jazz.
elevate
Well, then who's going to come?
everything
White.
of today,
White people.
especially the
Right.
music. Music
Right. It's important.
is therapy for people's souls,
Right.
Right.
which I
And
really
they come
think
from
we need
Europeans.
nowadays.
They come from
And,
Australia.
This music,
they're gonna be the
organ,
ones who's
jazz,
gonna come
piano
and
jazz.
support the place.
Well,
the
then,
drums,
That's the problem with
the
the
singing
Bennett
of
city
the music.
government.
We
They won't be able
can all
to support a place that white
help
people are
humanity in these times, these troubling
What would you
times.
do in that?
With God's grace,
We'd have to get someplace
His
in
love
white
and His help,
neighborhood.
until the Lord comes back again, I really believe
You gotta
that
get a common
jazz,
denominator. You gotta got a place where everybody could
it,
go,
it,
where everybody
it's
would
spiritual
want it.
music that
Smithville is good.
can
Yeah,
elevate
Smithville's good.
the society that
I
we're
mean,
in.
close by.
You know
I
what?
would love to be
Why don't you-
a part of it, whether I was a
That guy
major
was
part or a
wanted
minor
to hire
part.
us,
Uh,
but
this is what we live
He's a-
for,
he's
you
a
know,
jerk. He
either
said
sports, live for this, we live for
Tony
the
Powell.
music
On Smithville,
and bringing the spiritual aspect into it all, and it was done
He's-
before.
he's a jerk.
The greatest organ player
Come
ever,
see us
Jimmy
at
Smith,
all the time. Love you guys. Love
and
you
came
guys.
from my
Love
hometown,
that jazz
Norristown,
music,
and
love
he
that
rode
standard,
his
love
organ
that
down the
music.
White Horse Pike,
Played his
came
joint.
to Atlantic
Did a
City,
party for his
and
joint.
he set the world on fire with
You
that
guys are
instrument.
great. I'd love to
And,
hire you. I'm not
I
using
believe
it.
that history can
Well, you need
repeat
music
itself
in this
if
place.
we're
Yeah,
lucky.
well, see the
And,
Rams egg closed.
We can see a
When the Rams egg
resurgence of
closed,
all of
Smithville
that,
Inn could do whatever the hell they wanted
and
because
really put
you
it
didn't
on
have
the
to
map
worry
again,
about that.
because it was
Didn't
too
have to worry
good to
about
leave
doctors.
back there somewhere. Everyone has their voice
And the
in
minute
music.
Rams
There's
egg
all different
closed,
kinds of
Big
people,
Ad Smithville
but
and
we're
Fireside
here
Dining.
to
Rams egg
represent
had
jazz,
fire
the history of jazz, and
You know what I
make
mean?
people feel good.
and he was just
And
capitalizing
it's a very
on that.
likable music.
But he didn't hire the music that was
If you
from the
can
music.
bring it so that it can relate to people
It's
and they
okay,
can like it and
but
enjoy it. This is
it-
Bonnie Bennett. God bless.
I know